The war had been going on for 47 years. Commander Day Park stood on the bridge of the Alliance flagship and watched another battle unfold on the screen. Ships exploded in silence. Thousands died every day. The Crithian Empire was winning, slowly but surely. Day was human, one of only 5 humans in the entire Alliance military. Earth had sent observers years ago to watch and learn, but never to fight. His job was simple: record everything, report back home, and stay out of the way. Another sector lost, Captain Hana Kim said quietly beside him. She was the other human on this ship, working in intelligence. That makes 18 this year. Day nodded. The Alliance had been fighting the Crithians for nearly 5 decades. Hundreds of species worked together, pooling their technology and soldiers. But the Crithians were just better at war. Their weapons were more advanced. Their ships were faster. Their artificial intelligence could predict every move the Alliance made. How much longer can they hold out? They asked. 6 months, Hana said. Maybe less. Back on Earth, Ambassador Sung Lee sat in a small room with the Galactic Council representatives. The alien called Yuna Chang, an Alliance ambassador, had traveled all the way to Earth to beg for help. Her species had already lost 3 colony worlds to the Crithians. Please, Yuna said, her translator making her words sound desperate. We need you. We have studied your history. You understand war in ways we do not. Sung shook his head slowly. We have been neutral for 30 years. We watch, we learn, but we do not fight. Then you will watch us die, Yuna said. And when we are gone, the Crithians will come for Earth. Sung knew she was right. Earth scientists had been studying the war carefully. The Crithians conquered every species they encountered. They did not negotiate. They did not show mercy. They simply took what they wanted. 3 days later, the Crithian Empire sent a message to Earth. It was short and clear. Choose a side, or we will choose for you. You have 1 week. General Wuhan called an emergency meeting of Earth's High Command. Military leaders from every nation gathered in a secure location. Day and Hannah joined by video link from deep space. We knew this day would come, General Wu said. He was an old man who had spent his entire life preparing for this moment. The question is not if we fight. The question is how. Our technology is 40 years behind the Alliance, one general argued. And they are losing. Technology is not everything, Day said from the screen. His voice was calm. I have watched them fight for 3 years. I know why they are losing. Explain, General Wu ordered. The Crithians use artificial intelligence for everything, Day said. Every battle decision, every tactical move. Their AI is incredibly advanced. It can predict what the Alliance will do before they do it. How is that possible? Someone asked. Hannah spoke up. Because the Alliance fights logically. They follow rules of engagement. They use standard tactics. Their moves make sense. The AI learns the patterns and counters them perfectly. So we cannot win? Another general said. I did not say that, Day replied. I said the Alliance cannot win. We are different. General Wu smiled. He understood. How long do we need to prepare? We have been preparing for 30 years, Day said. We are ready now. The vote was unanimous. Earth would enter the war. When the announcement came, the Alliance Council could not believe it. Earth, a single planet with no combat experience, was joining the fight. Some thought it was brave. Others thought it was suicide. Ambassador Yuna met with Sung again. Thank you, she said. We will assign your forces to support positions. You can learn from our experienced commanders. No, Sung said firmly. We want our own sector. Give us a frontline position. Yuna was shocked. That is not wise. Your soldiers have never fought aliens before. They will be slaughtered. Let us worry about that, Sung said. We want the Antares front. The Antares front was considered a lost cause. The Alliance had been retreating there for months. 3 fleets had been destroyed trying to hold it. It was where the Crithians were pushing hardest, trying to break through to the Alliance core worlds. If you want to die there, I cannot stop you, Yuna said sadly. 1 week later, Admiral Jin Choi stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, the New Sol. Around him, 200 human ships prepared for battle. They were not the biggest ships in the galaxy. They were not the most advanced. But they were crewed by humans who had studied this war for 3 decades. All ships report ready, an officer said. Jin looked at the tactical display. 8 Crithian battle groups waited for them in the Antares sector. The humans were outnumbered 8-1. Alliance observers watched from a safe distance, expecting to witness Earth's first and last battle. Jin pressed the communication button. All ships, this is Admiral Choi. We are about to do something no species in this galaxy has ever done. We are going to fight a war the way humans fight wars. No rules, no patterns, no mercy. We will end this war before sunrise on New Sol. Clock starts now. Let's show them what chaos looks like. The human fleet jumped into the Antares sector. The war's final chapter had begun. The Crithian sensors detected the human fleet immediately. Their artificial intelligence calculated the threat level, analyzed the ship formations, and prepared countermeasures. The AI predicted a standard Alliance attack pattern. It was wrong. Admiral Jin watched the enemy fleet on his screen. All ships, execute pattern Chaos 1. The human fleet scattered in every direction. Ships moved in spirals, loops, and random paths. There was no formation at all. To the watching Alliance observers, it looked like complete disorder. To the Crithians, it looked insane. Colonel Taekwon commanded the ground forces aboard the assault carriers. He stood in the briefing room, addressing his soldiers. Remember your training. The Crithians expect logic. Give them chaos. They expect tactics. Give them improvisation. They expect patterns. Give them jazz. A young soldier raised her hand. Sir, what if their defenses are too strong? Then we try something else, Tae said with a grin. That is the human way. We adapt. We change. We do whatever works. On the New Sol, Dr. Sora Yoon sat in front of dozens of screens. She was the chief of tactical analysis, and she had been studying the Crithian AI for years. She knew its strengths and weaknesses better than anyone. Admiral, begin the noise transmission, she said calmly. Jin nodded. Communications, activate the package. Across all frequencies, human ships began broadcasting. Music from Earth filled the space between the fleets. Rock and roll, classical symphonies, pop songs, traditional folk music, comedy shows, old movies, sports commentary, cooking shows. Everything and anything from human culture poured out in a massive wave of data. The Crithian AI tried to process it all. It searched for military codes hidden in the transmissions. It analyzed the patterns. It calculated possible meanings. But there was no pattern. It was just noise. Beautiful, chaotic, human noise. The AI slowed down by 3% trying to handle the data. Lieutenant Bora Shin sat in her fighter cockpit. Around her, 50 other pilots prepared for launch. They called themselves the Ghost Squadron. Their fighters were not special. They were not the fastest or strongest. But they were piloted by humans. Ghost Squadron, launch when ready. The order came. Bora smiled and pushed her engines to full power. Her fighter shot out of the carrier bay, spinning in a corkscrew pattern. The other pilots followed, each one flying in a different crazy pattern. No 2 fighters moved the same way. The Crithian automated defenses locked onto the fighters. The AI calculated intercept vectors. It fired. Every shot missed. The fighters were not where the AI predicted they would be. They were where human instinct took them. "This is Ghost Leader," Bora called out. "All fighters go wild." The human pilots stopped following any flight pattern at all. They flew on feeling, on instinct, on pure reflex. One pilot flew upside down for no reason. Another did barrel rolls between enemy ships. A third flew in figure eights while shooting at targets. The Crithian defenses could not handle a dot back on the new Sol. Dr. Sora watched her screens with satisfaction. The enemy AI is processing at 92% efficiency. It is trying to understand what we are doing. Can it? Jin asked. No, Sora said, because we do not know what we are doing. We are making it up as we go. How can an AI predict chaos? The first Crithian battle group moved to engage the human fleet. Their ships formed perfect attack formations. Their weapons locked on targets. Their AI calculated a 98% chance of victory. The human ships did something unexpected. They retreated. Then they stopped. Then they split up. Then they came back together. Then half of them retreated while the other half attacked. There was no logic to it. A human destroyer called the Byzant suddenly accelerated straight at a Crithian battleship. The AI calculated the human ship would veer off at the last second. Every logical species avoided collisions. The Byzant did not veer off. At the last possible moment, it fired every weapon it had and then rolled sideways, scraping past the battleship with meters to spare. The Crithian shields took massive damage. The AI flagged the maneuver as impossible and suicidal, but the Byzant's captain was grinning. Mark that as one scared battleship. Next target, please. 1 hour into the battle, the first Crithian battle group was destroyed. The Alliance observers could not understand how it happened. The humans had been outnumbered and outgunned. By every logical measure, they should have lost. Admiral Jin opened a channel to the Alliance flagship. This is Admiral Choi of Earth Fleet. Antares front is now under human control. First objective complete. 4 hours remaining. The Alliance commander stared at his screen in shock. How? What weapons did you use? Same weapons you have, Jin said. We just use them differently. On the Crithian flagship, the AI sent a priority message to the Emperor. Warning: unknown tactical variables detected. Human behavior does not match any known combat doctrine. Predictive models ineffective. Requesting new strategic parameters. The Emperor read the message with growing concern. In 47 years of war, the AI had never requested help before. It had never encountered an enemy it could not predict. The humans had been in combat for only 1 hour, and already they were causing problems. Analyze their patterns, the Emperor ordered. There are no patterns, the AI responded. That is the problem. Back on the new Sol, the human crew was celebrating. They had won their first battle against an alien enemy. But Admiral Jin was not celebrating. He was planning the next move. Dr. Sora, what is the AI doing now? He asked. It is trying to learn, she said. It is studying our tactics from the last hour. It thinks it can adapt. Can it? Sora smiled. Only if we do the same things again. Which we will not. Correct, Jin said. He turned to his tactical officer. Prepare pattern chaos 2. And someone tell Colonel Tay to get his people ready. In 30 minutes, we are boarding their command ship. The tactical officer looked shocked. Sir, that violates the Articles of War. We are supposed to give them a chance to surrender first. Jin's eyes were cold. We are not here to follow their rules. We are here to win. The Crithians never gave anyone a chance to surrender. Why should we? The war was changing. The galaxy just did not know it yet. Captain Hyan Nam sat in a dark room filled with computer screens. He was Earth's best cyber warfare specialist. For 2 hours, he had been watching the Crithian network, looking for weaknesses. Now he had found something interesting. "Admiral, I can get into their system," Hyan said over the communication link. "How?" Jin asked. "They use perfect security protocols," Hyan explained. "No software can break it. But software is not trying to break it." "I am." Hyan typed commands that made no sense to the Crithian firewalls. He sent messages that looked like errors, but were actually careful probes. He used tricks that had no technical logic, only human creativity. The Crithian AI saw the attempts and ignored them. They did not match any known hacking patterns. They looked like random noise. That was exactly what Hyan wanted. 10 minutes later, he was inside their network. "I am in," he reported. "What should I do?" Admiral Jin thought for a moment. "Can you make their ships play music?" Hyan laughed. "Yes, sir." "What kind of music?" "Surprise me." 2 minutes later, every Crithian ship in the sector started playing Earth's oldest and loudest rock music through their internal speakers. The Crithian crews panicked. They tried to shut it off, but Hyan had locked the controls. The music played on, loud and chaotic. The Crithian AI tried to stop it, but Hyan was already 3 steps ahead, changing his methods every few seconds. Nothing he did followed any pattern. Nothing made sense to a logical mind. But it worked. Major Yoon Park led his special operations team through the debris field. They were floating in spacesuits, using pieces of destroyed ships as cover. Their target was a Crithian command vessel 3 kilometers away. "This is crazy," one soldier whispered over the radio. "Exactly," Yoon replied. "That is why it will work. They will never expect anyone to approach through a debris field. Their AI will calculate it is too dangerous." "It is too dangerous," another soldier said. "Then we will be careful," Yoon said calmly. They moved slowly, pushing off one piece of debris and floating to the next. The Crithian sensors scanned the area but saw only wreckage. The AI did not consider that living beings might hide among the dead metal. It was not logical to risk soldiers that way. An hour later, Un's team reached the Crithian ship. They attached to the hull and began cutting through. The metal was tough, but human tools were designed for this. The Crithians had never needed to defend against boarders. In galactic warfare, boarding enemy ships was considered primitive and dishonorable. Humans did not care about honor. They cared about winning. Technician Nario sat at her station on the New Sol. Her job was communications, but she was doing something much more interesting. She was talking to Crithian ships. "This is the human vessel New Sol," she said in the Crithian language. "We are calling to warn you. Your flagship is about to explode." There was silence. Then a Crithian officer responded. "That is not possible. Our flagship is protected by 17 shield layers." "Oh, you are right," Nari said sweetly. "I was lying. But now you are distracted, and our missiles just hit your port engine. Have a nice day." The Crithian ship rocked as missiles struck exactly where Nari said they would not. The enemy officer realized too late that he had been tricked. He had moved offensive power to the flagship, leaving his own engines vulnerable. "How did you know what I would do?" the Crithian demanded. "Because you are predictable," Nari said. "You think logically. When I said the flagship was in danger, logic made you protect it. Humans do not always think logically. Sometimes we just guess. And sometimes we are right." She closed the channel and smiled. Social engineering was not a common tactic in galactic warfare. Most species were too honest to lie well. Humans had been lying to each other for thousands of years. They were very good at it. By hour 3, the Crithian fleet was in chaos. They had lost 2 battle groups. Their communications were compromised. Their ships were playing strange music. Human boarding teams were inside their vessels, and they still did not understand how any of it was happening. The Crithian AI sent another report to the Emperor. Human tactical doctrine is incomprehensible. Recommend immediate retreat to defensive positions. The Emperor was furious. His fleet was retreating from an enemy they outnumbered. It was impossible. It was shameful. It could not be happening. What weapons do they have? He demanded. Standard Alliance-level technology, the AI replied. Nothing special. Then how are they winning? Unknown. On the new Sol, Alliance observers were asking the same question. Admiral Jin had invited them to watch from the bridge. He wanted them to understand. You are not using superior technology, one Alliance officer said. You are not using superior numbers. How are you winning? Jin gestured to Dr. Sora. She pulled up tactical displays on the main screen. Watch this, she said. She showed a recording of the battle from 1 hour ago. Here, a Crithian ship predicts our movements and fires. The shots miss because our ship changed course randomly. Random? The officer asked. That is inefficient. Inefficient, yes, Sora agreed. But unpredictable. The Crithian AI cannot predict randomness. It is designed to find patterns. We do not give it patterns. Jin continued the explanation. Your species have been fighting the Crithians for 47 years. You have been playing chess. Every move is logical. Every tactic has a counter-tactic. The AI learns and defeats you. And humans? The officer asked. We play poker, Jin said with a smile. We bluff. We take risks. We change our strategy mid-game. We do things that make no sense. Sometimes we lose because of it. But the AI cannot predict us. And that gives us the advantage. Major Yoon's team burst into the Crithian command ship's bridge. The alien officers reached for weapons, but Yoon's soldiers were faster. In 15 seconds, the bridge was under human control. Ship secured, Yoon reported. No casualties on either side. Good work, Jin replied. Hold position. We will send technical teams to download their data. The Crithian captain stared at the humans in shock. You boarded a military vessel during active combat. That violates 7 different articles of galactic warfare. Yoon shrugged. We are human. We did not sign those articles. We did not agree to your rules. We fight to win. This is barbaric, the captain said. Maybe, Yoon replied. But it works. By the end of Hour 3, the Crithian fleet was in full retreat. They had lost 3 battle groups and 1 command ship. The humans had lost 4 vessels and fewer than 200 soldiers. The exchange rate was unbelievable. Admiral Jin opened a channel to all ships. Well done, everyone. But we are not finished. The Emperor's flagship is somewhere in this sector. We have 2 hours to find it and end this war. Let's hunt. The human fleet reformed and began to search. But they were not searching randomly. Captain Hyan had found something in the captured command ship's database. He knew exactly where the Emperor was hiding. Admiral, I have coordinates, Hyan said. The flagship is in deep space, 3 light hours from here. How did you find it? Jin asked. I asked their computer nicely, Hyan said with a grin. Turns out, their security does not protect against someone who just downloads everything and reads it. They never thought anyone would be so simple. Jin laughed. Prepare for jump. All ships, we are going after the big prize. The war was almost over. The galaxy just did not realize it yet. The Emperor's flagship was called the Eternal Victory. It was the largest warship in the Crithian fleet, surrounded by an asteroid field that made navigation nearly impossible. I had chosen this hiding spot carefully. No sane commander would risk their fleet in an asteroid field. All ships, prepare for asteroid field entry, Admiral Jin ordered. Sir, the AI calculates a 78% chance of collision, an officer reported. Recommend we go around. Going around takes 3 hours, Jin said. We have less than 2 hours remaining. We go through. Captain Gina Song commanded the Vanguard fleet. Her ship, the Tiger's Claw, would lead the way through the asteroids. She had trained for this. Every human pilot had practiced navigating dangerous terrain. Not with computers or AI, but with their own hands and eyes and instincts. All ships switch to manual control, Gina ordered. Follow my lead. Trust your training. Trust yourselves. The human fleet entered the asteroid field. Computers screamed warnings. Alarms blared. The Crithian AI monitoring the situation calculated that the humans would lose at least 30 ships. It was wrong again. Gina's hands moved over her controls like a pianist playing a concert. She saw an asteroid coming and tilted left. She spotted a gap and accelerated through it. Behind her, 50 ships followed, each pilot trusting their own skills. Asteroid at 3 o'clock, her co-pilot called out. I see it, Gina replied calmly. She rolled the ship and slipped past with meters to spare. One ship did clip an asteroid. The pilot, a young woman named Hai Park, kept her cool. The ship spun out of control, but Hai used the spin to dodge 2 more asteroids. She killed her spin using emergency thrusters and rejoined the formation. Her crew cheered. The Crithian officers watching on sensors could not believe it. The humans were flying through an asteroid field at high speed, manually, and not dying. It was impossible. Yet it was happening. They are insane, one Crithian officer whispered. No, the AI corrected. They are unpredictable. That makes them dangerous. Sergeant Yongkang sat in a dropship with his Marine squad. They were the best close combat soldiers Earth had. Their mission was simple: board the Emperor's flagship and secure the command center. Nervous? Young asked his squad. Terrified, one Marine admitted. Good, Young said. Fear keeps you sharp. But do not let it control you. Remember, the enemy has never faced soldiers like us. They do not know how to fight humans. What if they are better than us? Another Marine asked. Young smiled. Then we cheat. We improvise. We do whatever it takes. That is the human way. The dropship launched from the Tiger's Claw. Young watched through the window as they approached the massive Crithian flagship. It was 5 times larger than any human ship. Its weapons could destroy a planet. Singing time, Young announced. His squad looked at him like he was crazy. Sir, you heard me. We are going into battle. Earth Marines have always sung going into battle. Pick a song. Any song. The Marines looked at each other. Then someone started singing an old folk song from Earth. Others joined in. The voices were rough and off-key, but they were human. They were alive. They were ready. The Crithian sensors detected the dropship. The AI tracked it, calculated intercept vectors, and prepared to destroy it. But then the sensors picked up something strange. The humans inside were singing. The AI paused. Singing was not in any combat database. Soldiers did not sing during combat. It was illogical. The AI spent 3 precious seconds trying to understand why they were singing. In those 3 seconds, the dropship attached to the flagship's hull. Young and his Marines breached the hull and entered the ship. Crithian defenders were waiting, weapons ready. The Marines kept singing as they fought. The Crithians froze. Nothing in their training had prepared them for enemies who sang while fighting. The confusion lasted only seconds, but seconds were all the humans needed. Young squad secured the corridor and moved deeper into the ship. Commander Mina Beek was a negotiation specialist. Her job was not to fight, but to talk. She sat in the New Soul's communication center and opened a channel directly to the Emperor. "This is Commander Mina Beek of Earth. I wish to speak with the Emperor." There was a long silence. Then a voice responded. "I am Emperor Xanthus of the Crithian Empire. Why you contact me during battle?" "To offer you a choice," Mina said calmly. "Surrender now, or we will release all your combat data to every species you have conquered or enslaved." The Emperor was silent. Then he laughed. "You threaten me with data? I do not fear information." "You should," Mina said. "Your empire has enslaved 47 species. Your AI has committed atrocities across 200 star systems. We have downloaded all your records. Battle plans, colony raids, civilian massacres, everything. If we release it, every species in this galaxy will unite against you." "They already fight me," the Emperor said. "They fight you because you attacked them," Mina replied. "But they do not hate you yet. They do not want revenge yet. Give us the evidence we have, and they will. Your empire will never know peace again. Every colony will face rebellions. Every ship will face ambush. You will spend the next 100 years fighting everyone." The Emperor was quiet. The AI processed this new information. It calculated probabilities. A unified galaxy against the Crithian Empire would be difficult. Possible to defeat, but at great cost. "What do you want?" the Emperor finally asked. "Total surrender," Mina said. "Immediate ceasefire. Withdraw from all occupied territories. Free all enslaved species. Face justice for your crimes." "Impossible," the Emperor said. "I will not surrender to an inferior species." "We are not inferior," Mina said quietly. "We ended your 47-year war in 4 hours. We destroyed your battle groups. We are currently inside your flagship. Our Marines are singing in your corridors. Do you know why they sing? No, because they are not afraid of you. Because they know they have already won. Because they are human, and humans do not give up." On the flagship, Young's Marines reached the command center. The doors were sealed with the strongest locks in the galaxy. Young pulled out a simple explosive charge and attached it to the door. "That will not work," a Crithian voice said over a speaker. "Those doors can withstand a nuclear blast." "Probably," Young agreed. He set the timer for 5 seconds. "But I am betting you do not want a hole in your command center wall." He started the countdown dot at 3 seconds. The doors opened. Crithian officers stood inside, unarmed. They had surrendered. Young walked in, still singing. His Marines followed. They secured the room quickly and professionally. The Emperor sat on a throne-like chair, watching them. "You are Marines," the Emperor said. "Why do you sing?" "Because it confuses our enemies," Young said with a grin. "And because it reminds us we are human. Being human means doing things that do not always make sense, but feel right anyway." Admiral Jin received the report. Command center secured. Emperor in custody. Jin looked at the clock. 4 hours and 30 minutes since the battle started. He opened a channel to all ships, Alliance and Crithian alike. "This is Admiral Jin Choi of Earthfleet. The Crithian Emperor is in our custody. The flagship is captured. I am offering terms to all Crithian forces. Surrender now, and you will be treated with respect under galactic law. Continue fighting, and we will treat you as war criminals. You have 5 minutes to decide." The Crithian fleet did not need 5 minutes. Within 2 minutes, every ship broadcast surrender signals. The war was over. Commander Mina spoke to the Emperor one last time. "You asked what humans want. We want peace. We want justice. We want species to be free. We did not come here for glory or conquest. We came because someone had to stop you. How did you know you would win? The Emperor asked. Mina smiled. We did not know. That is the difference between us and you. You're I need certainty. We are comfortable with uncertainty. We adapt, we change. We do what is necessary. That is why we won. General Wuhan's voice came through on all channels. This is General Wuhan of Earth Defense Force. On behalf of humanity, I accept the Krithian Empire's surrender. The war is officially over. The time was exactly 4 hours, 59 minutes, and 43 seconds since the battle began. Humanity had won. The surrender became official at hour 5 exactly. Across 200 star systems, fighting stopped. Ships lowered their weapons. Soldiers stepped away from their posts. After 47 years, the galaxy was silent. On the new Sol, Admiral Jin stood looking at the main screen. It showed the Krithian flagship with human marines guarding every corridor. It showed the Krithian fleet floating peacefully in space. It showed the end of the longest war in galactic history. Sir, the Alliance Council wants to speak with you, an officer said. Jin nodded. The screen changed to show dozens of alien faces, all staring at him with expressions of shock and confusion. Admiral Choi, one council member, began. We need to understand what happened. Our military analysts have reviewed the battle data. They cannot explain your victory. What do they not understand? Jin asked. Everything, the council member admitted. Your tactics made no sense. You broke every rule of warfare. You took risks that should have destroyed your fleet. Yet you won in less than 5 hours. How? Jin thought about how to explain. Your species have been fighting wars for thousands of years. You developed rules, honor codes, tactics that work. Your warfare became like a game with set moves and countermoves. The Krithian AI learned all those moves. It knew how to beat you every time. And humans? Another council member asked. We learned war differently, Jin said. On Earth, we fought each other for thousands of years. We learned there are no rules in real war, only survival. We learned to cheat, to trick, to confuse. We learned that the enemy who cannot predict you cannot defeat you. Dr. Sora stepped forward. I have prepared a full analysis, she said. With your permission, I would like to present my research to the galactic academic community. The council agreed. 3 days later, Dr. Sora stood in front of thousands of alien scholars. Her presentation was titled, The Advantage of Chaos: Why Human Unpredictability Dominates AI Warfare. She showed graphs and data. She explained how the Krithian AI was designed to find patterns and exploit them. She demonstrated how human chaos broke those patterns. She proved mathematically that unpredictability was a weapon. The Krithians spent 47 years learning how you fight, Sora explained. But they could never learn how humans fight because we ourselves do not know what we will do next. We improvise. We adapt. We change our minds. An AI cannot predict that. The scholars listened in amazement. Some were taking notes. Others were arguing with each other. A few just stared in disbelief. Are you saying illogical behavior is superior to logical behavior? One scholar asked. No, Sora replied. I am saying that flexible behavior is superior to rigid behavior. We are not illogical. We are adaptable. There's a difference. Ambassador Yuna Chang met with Commander Day Park in a quiet room on the Alliance flagship. She had come to thank him personally. I doubted you, she admitted. When your fleet entered the Antares front, I thought I was watching you die. Instead, I watched you win. I do not understand it, but I am grateful. Day smiled. We spent 30 years watching your war. We learned everything about the Crithians. We knew we could beat them, but we had to wait for the right moment. Why did you wait so long? Yuna asked. Millions died in those 30 years. Day's smile faded. Because we are cautious. We study. We prepare. We do not rush into fights we might lose. When we finally moved, we were ready. That is also the human way. The Galactic Council offered Earth a permanent seat. Chancellor Jin Park, Earth's head of government, accepted on behalf of humanity. She addressed the council with firm but diplomatic words. We will help you rebuild, Jin Park said. We will share our knowledge. We will work for peace. But understand this, we will not be controlled. We will not follow rules that do not make sense. We will be your partners, not your subjects. Some council members were uncomfortable with her words. Others nodded in agreement. The galaxy was changing, and Earth was now part of it. The Crithian Empire was dismantled piece by piece. Occupied worlds were freed. Enslaved species regained their independence. The Emperor and his war criminals faced trial. Justice was slow but thorough. Some Crithians asked to join the alliance. They were tired of war. They wanted peace. The council debated for months before agreeing. Trust would take time. 10 years passed. The galaxy was different now. Earth had become a center of learning. Species from across the stars came to study human tactics, human culture, human thinking. Universities opened on Earth and human colonies. The most popular course was called Human Combat Philosophy. Lieutenant Borashin, now Admiral Borashin, commanded the new Galactic Defense Academy. She trained pilots from 100 different species. In her classroom, students sat at desks designed for many different body types. Today we will discuss unpredictability, Bora said. Who can tell me why rigid tactics fail? A student from the former Crithian Empire raised a tentacle. Because the enemy learns patterns and exploits them. Correct, Bora said. And how do we prevent that? We change our patterns, a student from the Alliance offered. Good, Bora replied. But not good enough. Changing patterns is still predictable. The enemy will expect you to change. What else can you do? The students thought hard. Finally, a young human in the back row spoke up. We stop having patterns at all. We do what feels right in the moment. Bora smiled. Exactly. Trust your training. Trust your instincts. Trust yourself. The greatest weapon is not your ship or your gun. It is your mind. A mind that can adapt, improvise, and overcome. She pulled up tactical simulations on the screen. Now let us practice. I will show you an attack pattern. You must defend against it. But here is the challenge. You cannot use any standard defensive tactic. You must create something new. The students worked in teams, mixing species and perspectives. A human pilot worked with a Crithian engineer. An alliance strategist worked with a freed slave from a conquered world. They learned from each other. Commander Day, now retired, wrote a book about the war. It became required reading at the academy. The final chapter was called The 5-Hour War and the Century of Peace that followed. In it, he wrote, "We did not win because we were stronger. We did not win because we were smarter. We won because we were willing to do what others thought impossible. We won because we refused to accept that war had to follow rules. We won because we are human. And being human means never giving up, never surrendering, and never accepting that something cannot be done." Captain Hana Kim became Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council. She worked tirelessly to prevent new wars before they started. Her method was simple. She brought enemies together and made them talk. She forced them to see each other as people, not targets. War happens when we forget the enemy is alive, she often said. Peace happens when we remember we are all trying to survive in the same universe. The galaxy had not seen a major war in 10 years. Small conflicts still erupted, but the Galactic Defense Force, now commanded by humans and aliens working together, stopped them quickly. The methods were human. Negotiate first. Fight only if necessary. Win quickly if you must fight. On Earth. In a small museum dedicated to the 5-hour war, Admiral Jin Choi's uniform was displayed in a glass case. Beside was a simple plaque with his most famous quote, "We fight not for glory or conquest, but to protect those who cannot protect themselves." That is the human way. That is the only way. Millions of visitors came every year. They looked at the uniform. They read the stories. They watched the videos of that incredible 5-hour battle. They tried to understand how one species changed everything. A young alien child asked her parent, "Why are humans so good at war?" The parent, a former Krithian soldier, thought carefully before answering. They are not good at war. They are good at adaptation. They are good at thinking differently. They are good at being unpredictable. That makes them dangerous in war, but valuable in peace. The child looked confused. "I do not understand." The parent smiled. "You will. That is what we are here to learn." In the vastness of space, human ships patrolled alongside alien vessels. They shared stories, traded ideas, and learned from each other. The galaxy was not perfect. There were still problems, still conflicts, still misunderstandings, but there was also hope. Hope that different species could work together. Hope that war was not inevitable. Hope that the future could be better than the past. And that hope, more than any weapon or tactic, was humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. Admiral Bora stood at the window of her office, looking out at the stars. Behind her, students from a dozen species argued good-naturedly about the best way to fly through an asteroid field. They were learning, growing, changing. She smiled and whispered to herself, "We did not just win a war. We showed the galaxy what was possible." Not bad for 5 hours of work. Outside, the stars shined bright. The galaxy was at peace. And somewhere on 100 different worlds, humans and aliens worked together to keep it that way. The 5-hour war was over. But the human story in the stars was just beginning.